Always get some pictures and stuff like with your phone, long ways. I know we ain't gonna put it on, but long ways and vertical, you did. All right, world. Like we always say, terrific day, terrific day. Hopefully everybody's super great and getting better. Welcome back to the Corey Webster Experience. I am your host, Corey Webster. I am C-Web. And today we're about to dive in a few topics. We're going to talk about NBA. We're going to talk about the injuries that happened with the Mavs, Kyrie Irving, season-ending injury with an ACL tear. We're also going to talk about Joel Embiid, his knee situation, and he's also out for the season. We're talking about Deebo Samuels on the move, going to Washington, link up with Jaden Daniels and the Commanders. And, we also talked about the state of podcasting yesterday, so we're going to wrap it up with, some podcast stuff. So welcome back to the channel. Hopefully everybody's super great, like I said. Let's dive into it. Straight to I think we should start with, Kyrie Irving. If you don't know, Kyrie Irving suffered a season-ending ACL tear. That's what's being reported right now. I'm not the doctor, but that's what's being reported. You saw, if you watched the game, he stepped through with the right leg, left leg kind of hyperextended, and it was ugly. I really don't like when they play those in slow motion and they replay them because it's kind of cringy. But Dallas Maverick fans was already in an uproar when they moved Luka in the big trade from Dallas to Los Angeles, and they received Anthony Davis. So you can imagine what type of frenzy the fan base is going through right now that they done lost Kyrie Irving. They don't have Anthony Davis. It was promising because the trade happened. Anthony Davis come over, and for 3 quarters he's played outstanding basketball, but then leave with a abdominal injury. So the Mav fans base has got to be up in the roar. You know what I mean? Let's dive into it. Let's get real specific on it.
All right, let's get this thing started. With Kyrie Irving's, like you said, season-ending ACL injury, what steps are being taken to ensure he has a full recovery?
Well, I know it's a bit early in it. It just happened yesterday. So I guess he's going to be, getting MRIs, evaluation. They're going to see how the swelling go about. I don't know if he had the surgery yet. Depending on if it's swelled, depending on, the aftermath of the injury, can they operate on it this week or today? We'll hear about that soon. We'll keep our ears to the different reports and things of that nature. But, just with the concerns that people have been having with Kyrie and his injuries, right? So we were seeing, some promising there by him, competing hard last year and also coming back strong this year. But that's always been a concern. So it'll be interesting to see how he rehabs and how he come back, because a player that's shifty like that, that's very dynamic with his footwork, having an ACL injury is going to be a uphill battle. But I think he's up for the challenge when it comes to working out and getting himself in the proper shape that it needs to be in order to come back and compete. But I ultimately think that for all Mavs fans, they have to look at this, and I know this is hard. Pause what I'm about to say. They have to look at this from a standpoint of long term, having vision. It might even with him being healthy, right? They got to look at this move what they have put together. General manager, head coach Jason Kidd. They have to look at this from a 2 to 4 year window when it comes to the team that they're putting together. I think. Again, we have to wait and see. It's no guarantees. We have to wait and see how he comes back and return from it. But I think with a healthy Kyrie Irving, I think with a healthy Anthony Davis, a healthy Lively the second, and also they have another center. I think they have a great backcourt with Godfrey, if I'm not You tell me stay away from the names, but I think they have, and then they have PJ Washington. They have a great core too. I think they're putting together a team that can make a championship run in the next 2 to 5 years, 2 to 4 years. What you got? You gonna correct me?
No, we gonna just call him Daniel G.
Daniel.
I think it's Gafford.
Gafford. Oh, yeah, I appreciate that. So I just think that, I know it's hard to make any fan base patient, but I think they got to look at it from that window. I think the timing of all this is like pretty interesting because I read yesterday that, if I'm not mistaken, that the Mavs season tickets are going up like 10%, 8 to 10%. So losing a star, face of the franchise, 25-year-old, to LA, then losing their next face, Kyrie Irving, with a season-ending injury, and then telling the fans that we're going to charge you more for tickets. That's a bit odd, strange. What are your thoughts on that? As a season ticket holder, what will you be thinking if you had to re-up your tickets next year and all these pieces are moving around? Are you going to just be faithful and committed to the program, or are you going to have some reservations on those tickets?
It depends on how long I have been a season ticket holder. If I've been a season ticket holder for 20 years, then I'm just a diehard Mavericks fan. But if I brought these season tickets to see this one particular person, then you know what? And the prices are going up. Yeah. I may need to reconsider. And
that's been the whole thing, just with the load management and things of that nature. People buying these tickets because they are fans of individual players, and then their superstar player, when they go to the games, are not even playing. So, but I do think this. I think they have pieces out there that they also can get. I don't think KD is going to be happy at the end of this season. I think the Suns are going to be looking to make a move. So Dallas have the capability of putting together something special, like I said, for the 2 to 5 year window going forward. I think the fan base has to be patient and start to look at things from that perspective in the next 2 to 5 window. But it's going to be some adjustments, because we're going to see what Coach Kidd has really made now that he done lost a lot of his pieces. So he's going to have to get out there and coach. He's going to have to put some rotations together. Other people are going to have opportunity to step up. Remember, you're not only stepping up for the Mavs, you're also stepping up to present yourself in a resume form to all other teams out there. They have 29 other teams that may be looking for people to get their team better. I ain't gonna say to rebuild, but just to acquire so they can make their team better. So from a Mavs standpoint, we're gonna see what Jason Kidd. We also going to see what the general manager Harris is made about when these interviews and things come up. When he has to speak to the media, can he go out there and look them in the eyes? And even under this type of scrutiny right now, with the fan not liking some of the moves that has been made, can he instill confidence in them and let them know that this was for the future? And even with the Kyrie Irving injury, that we are seeing a bigger plan, and we have a process that we're going to trust into and let all the chips lay out that way. So I just think that if you're I'm in Dallas. So if you are in Dallas and you're a fan of the Mavericks, be patient. Now, if that doesn't happen, because some may say, what if we don't win a ring or a championship in the next 2 to 5 years? Well, then that'll be a bigger conversation or a deeper conversation that we would have later on down the line. But, none of this is guaranteed. So I think they do have pieces that are out there and that they have on the team already that they put themselves in good position to compete for a championship in the next 2 to 5 years. So let's wish Kyrie Irving and his family, a great recovery, because it's more mental than it is physical when you have those type of injuries. And, we just want to send our prayers out to him and his family that they can, stay lock in together and they can build a stronger rapport as they go through this situation right here. As well as, Anthony Davis, he had a lot of question marks with his injury. So, I think the Mavs got to look at it from a standpoint, do we shut Anthony Davis down? Because they're in, I think, 11th place right now in the Western Conference. Do we shut him down, get him full healthy, get a fully healthy Kyrie, work our players, so to speak, the parts and the pieces of the rotation, the PJ Washington, fine scoring from within, the Dinwiddie, if I'm not mistaken, find that type of development from within, And then, when those other pieces come back to Derry Lively, when he comes back, he's a young guy, develop him into having, he's a lob type of guy, rebounder type of guy, defensive type of guy he can learn from. Maybe an AD, because AD had been the defensive player, that protects the rim and has evolved very well. So maybe some of those guys can, teach and mentor those individuals as they move forward. You know what I mean? So any other thing on the Dallas Mavericks in that whole injury situation?
Yes. How do you think these setbacks will impact the Mavericks' playoff chances?
I don't want to lie to him. I think this season and playoffs is out of the picture,
Okay.
Because with Kyrie, with the departure of Luka, they were, Kyrie was kind of holding it together.
Right now they're 10th.
They're 10th. I'm sorry, I said 11. You know what I mean? So they're not even in the play-in tournament spot, right? So they're trying to stay, between 7 and 10 so they can have that play-in tournament spot. But I think with the loss of Kyrie Irving, and that's what happens too. I hate to say this, man. We always had this thing in football, man. You got to, kind of take care of your brothers, you know what I mean, with the practice load, with the workload, and you kind of all share that load, because when one of those pieces are missing, you see one have to step up and try to hold that on their own, as you saw Kyrie Irving doing, you know what I mean? He was, all right, Luka's gone. All right, so I got to, bear more of the weight on my shoulder, right? And then you see him go down. And then you see AD go down. So I think their playoff chance for this year is just out the picture. I don't want to lie to you. I don't want to make the fans, kick them while they're down or anything like that, but I just think it's out of the picture this year. They're in the 10th position. They have a lot of other great teams in the West that's doing really well, that have their pieces, that's getting healthy, right? Chet Holmgren, the number 1 team in the Western Conference, he just returned, maybe 2 weeks ago, right? So he's getting, to a better chemistry with that team. Luka with the Lakers, they're playing very well. He's still getting his legs back underneath him. So all those teams look like they're getting healthy and they're, moving up. Denver is playing well. Memphis is playing well, you know what I mean? So it's going to be hard for those individuals from the Mavericks with this whole loss of Luka, Kyrie, AD, and a backcourt. I'm sorry, the front court, the 2 big centers. I think it's going to be hard for them to make a playoff push this year.
Gotcha. Thank you for that information.
We have another guy that's out for the season too, moving, shifting. Joel Embiid. Now, I said this last year. I said last year when he was talking about the load management and things of that nature, I said this last year about Joel Embiid. I thought they should have shut him down last year and get him fully healthy. And they didn't do that. And on top of they didn't do that, with the whole controversy that went on with the Dream Team and the USA team, he decided to play in the Olympics. I know it's a blessing to be able to play and represent your country in the Olympics, but he also had talks about representing another country, because I think he had promised another country that he was going to play with them, but then he had the opportunity to play with the USA team, and he took that opportunity. But I don't think that was good for him because of his health. And not for nothing, man, you got to be a professional. Let's talk about the 76ers. Can you read that off, the 76ers? Because they have had 4 to 5 athletes that missed 1 or 2 years when they first arrived, their rookie seasons, right? So you got to start, digging even deeper. I don't know if they have, and I know they talked about trusting their process. When everybody tell you trust their process, you got to make sure that they got a proven process. You got to make sure they have a proven system. And I don't see the 76ers having a proven system when it comes to developing their athletes, not just on the court, but also as far as the health of their athletes. What's that list of players right there? What kind of time they missed?
All right, so Joel Embiid, foot injuries, more than 1. Ben Simmons fractured his right foot.
And Joel Embiid missed the entire first 2 seasons. Correct. So he was drafted in 2014, 3rd overall, and missed the 2014-15 season and the 2015-16 season. And he's still being plagued with injuries in his 2025. I'm sorry.
All right. So then it's Ben Simmons. He was drafted in 2016. fractured his right foot, missed the entire 2016-2017 season, so his entire first season.
Yeah, and I'm partial to Ben Simmons. As you can see, he went to my alma mater. But another player that's been, whatever it is, mental, back injuries, the foot injuries, he hadn't played.
Correct.
He hadn't played. So you got to calm your dog down or whatever that is going on.
And the next player is Noel. He tore his ACL before being drafted, so he missed the entire first season, which was 2013-2014. And then we have Okafor. He had a right knee injury, and he, struggled to fit in, so they traded him. So he didn't stay.
And he missed part of that rookie season as well.
Correct.
And you can't forget about my
Markelle Fultz.
Yeah, first overall pick.
With a shoulder injury and a thoracic injury. And he only played in 14 games as a rookie. And he struggled, just to get back, whatever. He never fully developed in Philly, so he was limited.
So I would say that Philly has an issue with developing individuals, especially when it comes to their health and what type of training. I would check into who's the strength and conditioning person, who is the doctors and the trainers, because I think we all have to be evaluated. We can't just put the onus on the players because a lot of the players don't know. A lot of these guys that you named off were one and done type players, you know what I mean? Only went to college, a year. So where are they getting this training, where are they getting this education from on how to take care of their body for an 82-game season, right? College, we're not playing 82 games. High school, we're not playing 82 games. It is not the wear and tear that NBA puts on you. So I thought about that last year with Joel Embiid. I'm like, this is a perfect time to shut him down and get him fully healthy, and they didn't do it last year. But I also think that a lot of these, you have to take ownership on yourself as a professional, right? You have a lot of players that then show that they can play, be healthy, and be durable throughout the season. So you gotta, check in. What are they doing? Shout out to Earl Thomas. Played at Texas. One of the better safeties that played in the National Football Leagues. Is a part of DBU. I didn't know Earl. I'm just be honest, because I be in my own little bubble getting right. And I'm at LSU working out, just in my regular routine, working out with and he can maybe chime in. I don't know his side of the story, right? But I'm at LSU. I worked out at LSU the whole time. So I'm with the team. I don't remember what year it was. I'm working out with them. I'm out there in the morning. Earl Thomas is there. And I remember the LSU guys, the trainers, the players, they're like, oh, he there with Corey. But with no disrespect, my picture of what I thought Earl Thomas was a big old guy, 6'2", 6'3". And so when I see this guy, he's not that, you know what I mean? But in my mind, I had never saw him in person before. I see him as a 6'2", 6'3", 215, 20-pound guy. So this guy's not that, you know what I mean? Actually, I may be a little taller than him. I may be a little. So I'm like, man, I don't, he talking to me, and he talking cash to me. Like, he cash money, Hey, man, we should have beat y'all, da-da-da-da-da. And I'm like, okay. And I'm being cordial because, we at LSU, whatever, and I don't want to disrespect him in any way, anybody, you know what I mean? So I'm talking to him, but I really didn't know who he was because it was all out of whack for me. I'm normally, or whoever I bring there, meaning I'm normally the only NFL guy that's there, or the ones that I come with, Joe Dye, Travis Daniels, or whoever came there with me. He didn't come there with me, so I'm like, it's throwing me off, you know what I mean? So he like, man, we should have beat y'all. He talking, I'm like, yeah, but I guess we, And I ain't a big trash talker or whatever like that, because he's not really talking trash. He's just talking about the season. So he ended up, going back and forth, worked out with us. So in the middle of the stretch, preparing the workout, I pull Earl. Shout out Earl. Earl aside, I'm like, man, who's the other dude? Earl like, oh, we thought he came with you. That's Earl Thomas, man. Earl Thomas played with Texas. I think he was with the Seattle Seahawks at the time. So what I'm saying is, man, he came out there, picking our brain, working out. I don't know what he was doing there. You know what I mean? Me and him worked out. He also stayed and helped me work out because I would always, give game to the younger DBs that was there, how the DBU came about. So DBU was bigger than just LSU for me, right? LSU tried to claim it, but, I started that. I originated that. And that's another story for another day. But I'm saying is, I felt that he was picking my mind about my workouts and things of that nature, you know what I mean? And he also he served. He came there and helped me with, and I forget who the younger DBs was. I want to say maybe Tyrann Matthews was there at the time. We did 7-on-7. We did individual drills and stuff like that with those guys. And I just think that's what some of these players have to do. You know the guys that's having success. LeBron James has been noted for having success as far as his durability. They have other guys too. You got to check in and see what those guys are doing and add that to you. You know what I mean? I just see, a lot of guys look like they're not taking care of their bodies. I think, a professional athlete should look a certain way. And I'm not saying everybody got to be ripped up and chiseled and things of that nature, but you should be able to look a certain type of way, like you're taking care of your body. Like your health means something to you. And I don't see a lot of that in professional sports right now, especially when it comes to the NBA. So I ain't going to hold you.
Gotcha. Thank you for that spill. All right, moving on. Let's talk about the fight.
Who was fighting? That was a joke. Gervonta Tank Davis versus Lamont Roach Jr. Yeah, I'm a big boxing fan. I'm also a fan of Tank, but I can't hold you on that either. I think I'm gonna say this, even leading up to the fight, and I don't know, I'm just a fan of it, right? The way Tank was talking over the past months leading up to the fight, talk about this is my last fight, or I'm ready to retire, or I just want to get the money. Look like something is going on there that's a little deeper than we, can understand right now with Tank, right? So when I heard that verbiage and I heard that spill, I was like, I don't know if that's good going into battle. You know what I mean? Like, you start talking about retirement, you start talking about your last fight. It's hard to go forward when you already thinking about getting out of there. You feel what I'm saying? Like, I knew, my time was up because of how I felt, not because of physical things of that nature. I could have played physically if I wanted to longer, right? And I appreciate the inquiries and stuff like that too, but I wasn't there mentally to do the same stuff that I was doing to get myself prepared. And not only myself prepared, football is the ultimate team sport, to get teammates and things like that prepared at the level that I expected to be at, right? So when I saw him talking about, retirement and just getting this bag and doing this and disappearing and stuff like that, I understood it, but I don't think it's any positivity come from that when you going into battle, you know what I mean? And I don't want to take nothing away from the people that work in service, but when you going into that type of a battle, that high level competition where you always have to be on offense and defense and you have to be on your game no matter what, you can be a guy that trains well, but if that mental isn't there, which is, mental is what we say 90%, the physical aspect of it may be 10%. So if you're not all in mentally, I think that can, get yourself hurt in the ring. So I think Lamont Roach, I think he landed more punches throughout the fight. I think Tank was used to, figuring it out, having that slow start, figuring it out around the third, fourth round. And I think the fan base was always geared to, all right, third, fourth round and happen, he to figure out. Now they waiting for, it's finna happen, you know what I mean? I had friends talking about it that's super duper Tank Davis fan. They're like, it's gonna happen in the third, fourth round, it's gonna happen. And the fourth round didn't end, it's gonna happen in the sixth round. And that sixth round went back to the 10th, you know what I mean, and to the 12th. And then we had a draw. And some will say, and I think Tank lost the fight, just to be perfectly honest, you know what I mean? I think, again, when I talk about that retirement, I think he felt and found an excuse in the midst of the fight when he decided to take a knee and talk about the grease in his eyes, you know what I mean? Look, this is not your first fight with long hair. I have long hair, you know what I mean? A lot of guys play, just be honest, with long hair, helmets on, sweat dripping, in their eyes, chemicals dripping in their eyes from the product that they put in their hair. Boxing no different, they put Vaseline on the face, Vaseline dripping in their eyes, no different. People fight with blood in their eyes. So when he came about the whole grease being in his eyes, I felt like that was an excuse, and he took a knee. And the referee, it was on them. It's not even on the judges because the referee didn't, award him taking that knee. So I think Lamont Roach showed that he can fight. He can stand in there. He can take a punch. He always said that. Look, I can take a punch. It ain't just going to happen like that. But I also think they were very familiar with each other. That wasn't their first bout. They fought when they was younger, maybe 2 times. And Lamont also said when they fought when they was younger, he thought he won those fights. So this time I think he showed the world, people that, not just kind of like average boxing fan, that he can fight. You know what I mean? Because he hadn't probably been on this stage right here, you know what I mean? Where people saw him, he's not popping off on social media. Not to say Tank is, but I'm saying people don't know him as well as they know Tank Davis. So I think he showed the world that he can fight. I think he showed the world that he can take a punch. And remember, he moved up. So I think it was a great fight, though. I think with the whole, how this fight ended up, it's perfect prime for a rematch. And you never know. Lamont get in the weight room, put some more pounds on out, put some more strength on, power on. You never know, because he hit Tank with some good punches that staggered him. He didn't take him down. I thought he looked like he was going to go, but ended up being a great fight. I think Lamont Roach Jr. won the fight, and I think we set for another rematch. You got any fights that Lamont took place in? Notable fights. Like Tank, he took, Ryan Garcia. People know that fight, They know Frankie Martin. People know that fight, right? Any other fights that you see that Lamont Roach took place in that, the world needs to know about now that he have fought Gervonta Tank Davis?
Yes. Roach's notable fights was back in November of 2019 against Jamal Herring for the WBO junior lightweight title, but he lost by unanimous decision. Mm-hmm. And back in October 2020, he defeated Neil John by unanimous decision as well.
So what do you got? What's his record?
His
23-1-1, because now he got to draw with Tank.
Yes.
Oh, yeah, all right.
With 9 victories by knockout.
Mm-hmm. So now Tank is 30 wins, 1 draw, 28 victories by knockout. So yeah, I think it's prime for another good matchup, and I think I think they put on a good show. I'm not gonna lie, I know Tank had a couple of fights without the Mayweather team. I would really like to see them work it out, because I felt like when the Mayweather promotion was there, I saw the fight being advertised everywhere. And I could be wrong, y'all have to, like I say, always fact check me, but I felt like the fight was everywhere. I didn't feel like the fight was everywhere this time. You know what I mean? I feel like, him and Mayweather can, all right, man, we may not get along. I may not like some things that you do, but, let's get this money together, right? Let's work on, this business side of things. So I think they could work on that and get that going. And if they want to, I'm just saying, I just felt like when he was with the Mayweather team and had that partnership, we saw the fight being there, where we saw the YouTube, we saw the training leading up to the fight. And we saw, I don't know if that was just Mayweather using his connections and things like that, but, it'll be interesting to see going forward, man. Let's see a rematch so we can settle this whole thing. It's a draw right now. Let's see a rematch. But I did think that Lamont Roach Jr. won the fight, so I want to give that man his flowers right now, man. Great job. Continue working hard. Continue going forward. And, we'll see what happens in the near future. Last thing, we got to talk about the state of podcasting. I saw that Camron and Ocho, they both responded to each other. I like what I heard from, the camps. Camron apologized. We thought that he was coming at him a little hard, so I kind of enjoyed that piece of it. Somebody showing some emotional intelligence. Not that Chad didn't show it, but just that they can, be men, say, look, I apologize, I'm sorry if you thought that way, because everybody's entitled to feel how, they want to feel and perceive what you're saying, how they have to process and perceive it. So big shout out to those guys. Hopefully everything can stay on the up and up and a positive thing, and they can move forward and continue to do great work, because I'm a fan of both of those shows and things of that nature. So I ain't gonna hold you. Like I always say, man, get in the comments, hit me with anything that y'all thought that I said right, wrong, or indifferent that you agree on. Again, it's a safe place. Like, subscribe, hit the notification bell, and we're going to be here putting out consistent content, and we would love your feedback. We out.